In today's Leeds news, Daniel Farke's post-game comments, Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth buy in, Rutter on last season, and new ownership rules announced. Hey folks, Jay here on the 13th of July with your Leeds United news, day after the first pre-season friendly against Manchester United, and not an awful lot happening at all. There's very little. It'll be a quick video. Two quick announcements. One, the one a week. If you like the channel, if you like what we do here, you want to help us support us, you can do it by subscribing and liking the video. That will do that. Also, if you are interested in getting in with a chance of winning one of two Leeds United shirts that we'll give away at the end of this month, you can do so by liking the daily videos and subscribing to the channel, which will get you involved in the draw. The more daily videos you like, the more chances you have to win. More details on that at the end of the video as well. So let's crack on and get into this. And yesterday, Leeds United kicked off their pre-season campaign with a 2-0 defeat to Manchester United in Oslo. A game of mixed fortunes, I'd say. Some decent performances from the younger players, not so much from the older guard. Some errors we saw from last season again. First half, against a very experienced, mostly experienced Manchester United side, Leeds held their own. And then into the second half, when the younger players came in, you thought Leeds would step in and step on with the more senior players. Leeds brought in with Bamford Ayling coming to that team as well. And didn't really happen. In the second half, actually, Leeds were quite poor. But the positives from that were Jorginho Rutter looked like a threat going forward when he got to run at players. Definitely not a number 9 for me. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's more of a wide player looking at how he played yesterday. Lewis Bate looked decent as well in the park. Ian Poveda got some minutes and did a couple of nice things. Still a lot of work for him to do to justify a position in the team, but did okay. Cody Drama from an attacking perspective was fine. Leo Hjelde, probably not a left back. We probably need to go and sign a left back still. And I think the centre half pairings, we still need to go in by centre half. There is work needed. Lewis Bate and Archie Gray could both be very good central midfielders, and JB, I think, needs some experience in there with them as well. So they'd still have a lot of work to do, and we'll get to that in a few minutes, because Daniel Farke was commenting after the game about it, and he hasn't pulled any punches in his comments about the situation at Leeds United. Asked about transfers at Leeds, and he basically said that the way the situation is at the moment is we know we need to bring players in, but in a situation we've lost a lot of players already. He said it's too early to judge the squad and what we're looking at right now. But he said we've lost some players. They've gone out on loan. No fees have come in for them, which is a problem. But he also said that we need to make sure this never happens again, which is probably an indirect or direct dig at Victor Orta's loan clause policy, which has been put into these contracts that nobody else ever seems to use. Farke said we need to make sure it doesn't happen again, but he wasn't too downbeat about performance. The game probably came at a time when they didn't need it. Probably came way too soon. Would have preferred to have more time on his pitch. He's got over a week to work with the players now before they get into their next preseason friendly. You'll have other players back in that length of time as well that came back over the last couple of weeks. William Gnonto will be back. Hopefully Jack Harrison will be back. And then we'll hopefully see some movement on the injuries with Tyler Adams and Harrison as well. So you never know, but it could be important at least to keep some players. I didn't get a huge sense that any incomings were on the verge of happening. But then what I will say with this is, I don't know Farke's policy on talking about transfers. We saw Jesse Marsh last season say, I'm not talking about transfers. It can be a subject of frustration for management that they're trying to talk about what they're developing in terms of a style or a culture at a club, or just getting their ideas across to the players and being distracted by transfer. Leeds need them. They know they need them. And again, just going on how things have been done with the 49ers, I kind of expect nothing to be said and then all of a sudden a player to be announced. So we'll keep an eye on it, as we always say, and we'll see what happens. But it's a mixed bag yesterday, but I wouldn't read too much into preseason friendly. I really wouldn't react. There's a lot of people getting very angry very early on. I just wouldn't get angry about this. It's too early, and we've had worse preseasons than everybody else, and then things turned around. So hold fire would be my advice right now. Next week, different conversation. Let's move on to the ownership situation. We've got a bit of stuff on this today, and yesterday Jordan Spieth announced in a interview after a tournament, that himself and Justin Thomas have bought in as a minority shareholder in Leeds United. Ricky Fowler was also rumoured to be involved in this little group that were going to get involved in the lower end tiering of the system, but Ricky Fowler has decided not to invest at this moment. Spieth made some interesting comments, though. He talked about the price that they got the club for on the back of relegation might actually work out as a positive if Leeds can get back to the Premier League pretty quickly in terms of a return on revenue. Remember, the model that the 49ers are operating here, they don't make any money unless Leeds are successful, and that's very important. This is a very much a venture capitalist style investment, and they don't take anything out unless they get something in. And if they don't get success this year and have a second year in the championship, that means more money from them has to go into it to get out of that, to get any kind of a return. So it's very important for them that this goes well in order for them to make any money, which is why I'm probably not overly worried just yet about the situation. It's starting to get a little bit edgy, but not overly worried, because I think it's in everyone's interest there to get this right in order for them to make any kind of money on this, which is what they'll want to do. Moving on, let's talk about some younger players at the club in yesterday's performances. And Rutter, who has been featured very heavily as the face of the current new look Leeds United squad in this pre-season, when he was talking after the game, and what was a decent performance for him. As a number 9, I didn't think he was aggressive enough in terms of pressing players, and I didn't think the hold of play worked particularly well with him. But when he got out wide or dropped deep and got into a situation where he could turn and run at players, he looked really dangerous. Good passing of the ball into channels. Some very nice link-up plays for the Sinister and Ian Pavetta chance. It was Rutter that dropped deep, picked the ball up, turned, and a lovely ball into Pavetta to start that move off. So there's some good stuff there with him. I'd like to see him more out wide than through the central area, which then obviously answers tees up the question of what Leeds going to do up front, because Pat Bamford still doesn't look like the answer. But Rutter was talking after the game about what had happened and last season specifically, and he said that coming into Leeds last year, he was disappointed, and when he came in, he expected to play more games than he did, but he did understand that in the situation Leeds were in, it's very hard for young players to make an impact. But he said he's much happier now in the situation that he's in. He said his confidence is good and he knows better is to come. Talking about his objectives for the season, he said obviously the club's objective is to get back to the Premier League straight away, but from his personal perspective, his objective is just to play football and enjoy himself, which he looks like he does when he does get the ball to his feet and can run a player. So it's positive there. I don't see him as a out and out number 9. I really don't. I think if you look at his history, he's played primarily as a wide player, and I think that's where we'll get the best out of him. So we need to look at that. But decent performance from him yesterday. Some very, very promising moments from him, which we can hopefully see more of in pre-season going to the start of the season. And then finally today, as I said, short one today, new ownership rules have come out. And welcome back to the EFL when they start moving the goalposts while you're here. So Leeds will probably just about avoid a fine from the EFL, and this is in relation to Leeds announcing their ownership, the takeover of the club before ratification from the EFL. The Athletic shared some reports this morning that basically said that going forward, fines will be issued to clubs who announce takeovers before EFL ratification. It comes just after Leeds announced theirs, though, so Leeds will avoid it. This rule kicks in from July, which is we're in now, but Leeds takeover was announced in June, so they should avoid any punishment. What's interesting to say is since Leeds returned to the EFL, or since it looked like it was guaranteed that Leeds would be back in the EFL have changed their owners and directors test to include far more restrictions down to minor criminal convictions for individuals as well. And they've now changed the announcements on takeovers, which comes straight after Leeds have announced that they had a takeover without the ratification of the EFL. My advice to the EFL on this would be just get on with it. Get these takeovers done quicker. Speed it up, because a lot of clubs, not just Leeds, but a lot of clubs are relying on these takeovers being announced quickly so they can get on with their plans for the summer. And the EFL doing what the EFL do, dragging their heels and then approaching things with a stick approach rather than a carrot approach. So welcome back to the EFL, Leeds United. They've already started with us. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. It's not a big one. Just a reminder again, if you do want to win the Leeds United jersey, kit it out, sponsor's name, whatever name you want. We'll contact the winners at the end of the month. But to get him a chance to win that, it's like the daily videos. The more daily videos you like, the more entries you have into the draw to win one of the 2 Leeds United shirts that I'll give away at the end of this month. So that's that. That's for today. Hopefully we got something more tomorrow. This was supposed to be a busy week, wasn't it? It just hasn't happened yet. So that's that. Also, just a little plug as well. If you're interested in Premier League stuff, myself and my friend Rowan launched Inside EFL, which our first video will be going up today. It's a long one, but it'll be going up on YouTube today. You can check that out as well. I'll probably link it some point later on today. If you're not into it, it's okay. It's cool. But if you want it, we've got a second channel. It's more conversational, less newsy, more podcasty. So you can check that out if you want it. And that's going to be it for me. I'll see you tomorrow for more Leeds news. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.